Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be bringing you the second part of our job interview series.
That's right. So this is an advanced lesson, and we're going to be talking about educational background and experience.
Right. So in the first part, we saw preparing for a job interview. Now we are at the job interview, and we're just going to be talking about your educational background and your job experience.
That's right. And the language we're going to learn is going to focus mostly on these two areas.
Okay, perfect. So let's take a look at some of the difficult words before we listen to the dialogue in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
All right, so we're going to talk about a few common words that have to do with education. Now, the first word, I think we might know this one, but there's a little trick to it. So the first one is major.
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 So, yeah, I guess everyone knows what a major is, right?
Yeah, it's the main subject that you study in university.
Right, so you can study business as a major or...
history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you can also use it as a verb, right?
That's right. I majored in history.
Majored in. So usually it's followed by the preposition in.
Yes, always, in fact.
Okay.
When used as a verb, I majored in science.
I majored in business.
Yes.
Okay, so you can say my major is business administration or history, or you can say I majored in business.
Yeah, and the same pattern applies to minor.
Okay, so minor, this is really interesting because this is more common in English-speaking countries, right?
That's right.
So what exactly is a minor?
Well, just like your major, but smaller.
Okay.
So if you major in history, maybe 60% of your classes are in history, and you minor in French, maybe 30 or 40% of your classes are in French.
So basically, you can have two subjects in your degree. You can have a major in business with a minor in art.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
All right, and another two simple words, a bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's degree, okay.
A bachelor's degree is what you get after going to university for 4 years.
Okay, so a bachelor's degree, after 4 years, you get that.
Yep.
After that, you get a master's degree.
Right. So that's another 2 years after your bachelor's degree.
Okay, and I guess a master's is more focused on an area, right?
Yes, more specialized.
More specialized. And then the highest degree you can get is a PhD.
Exactly.
Which is a philosophy doctorate, right? But you're not actually getting a degree in philosophy.
No, it could be in international relations.
Okay. But this is really hard to get. You have to go to school for another 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of research, and not many people have it.
Yeah. Anyway, some simple words, but you know what? It's quite unique to the English-speaking world, this system, so we thought we'd bring it to you now.
Right, perfect. So now let's listen to this guy who is at an interview, and he's going to be talking about his education and work experience.
Thanks for coming in today. Did you have any trouble finding us? Please, take a seat.
Thank you.
So, let's get started. Tell me a bit about your educational background.
Sure. Well, I graduated with honors from Chesterton University with a major in business administration, with a specialization in information management, and I minored in psychology. I chose this course of study for two reasons. I wanted to gain some practical, marketable skills, which the information management track provided, and I also feel that the interpersonal skills are essential for professional success, hence the minor in psychology.
Interesting. And your postgraduate studies?
Well, I am really passionate about consumer behavior, so I pursued a master's in that area. I also strive to keep my professional skills current, so I continuously attend seminars and conferences related to management and customer service.
Very good. Now, tell me a little bit about your work experience. I see here that you previously worked at Oracle.
Yeah, I worked as their customer support manager, which brought me a breadth of experience in both client care and process management. I supervised and coordinated the customer support team as well as implemented new strategies to achieve better customer satisfaction.
Interesting.
Yes, in this position, I was able to make some pretty significant contributions to the overall success of the company. With the different initiatives that we implemented, we lowered our churn rate to about 5%, which had a direct impact on revenue.
Well, those are some pretty good answers to those questions, but I don't know, Marco.
There was a little awkward moment. I don't know if you guys heard it. Natural body, what's it called? Functions.
Yeah.
So,
oh, dear.
Well, making the interview a little bit more interesting, right? It doesn't have to be boring.
Exactly. But what is really interesting is some of the language he used to describe his educational background and work experience. So let's look at that now in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, so in language takeaway today, we have 7 words that we want to focus on before we give you some tips about doing well on a job interview. So let's take a look at the first word. Course of study.
Course of study.
Course of study.
A course of study.
So what is a course of study exactly?
Basically, it's like a plan of study or a path of study.
Okay, so his course of study was...
Business administration.
Exactly, so that is his course of study. Mm-hmm. Now let's take a look at our second word. Track.
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 So he said he wanted to gain some practical, markable skills that the information management track provided.
Exactly.
So what does he mean by this track?
Again, basically, if the track of study is like the path of study.
Okay.
So the direction of your study.
Okay, so I guess it would be like, think of a train and the train tracks, right?
Exactly.
Where the train travels. So that's where it's taking you. That's the path that he followed or you should follow or you want to follow.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Now let's take a look at our third word, and it's a really nice conjunction. Hence.
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 H-E-N-C-E. Hence.
Hence. So it sounds fancy, but
Yes.
what
Really
does it
simple.
mean?
So. Therefore. Yeah.
Right. So you can use it as a conjunction between 2 ideas. So he said, what would be an example of how you could use hence?
You could say the economy is doing poorly, hence people are losing their jobs.
Okay. Hence. So therefore, in consequence.
Right.
So.
Exactly.
But it just sounds a lot more like professional.
And formal.
Formal.
Yeah.
Okay. So try and use this conjunction hence, right? Instead of saying so, therefore.
Yep.
Use it. Okay. Our fourth word.
Pursued.
Pursued.
He pursued a master's.
Okay. So to pursue.
To chase after something.
To chase
Rawr.
after. So you can pursue a master's degree like he did.
Yes, you can pursue a promotion.
A dream.
Nice one.
Can you pursue a girl?
Yes, you can.
All right. So pursue to chase.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at our next word. Strive.
Another great word you can use when talking about your experience. To strive is to try really hard.
To try really hard.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we have some examples for strive.
Yeah, let's take a listen.
Example 1.
At our company, we are always striving to improve our services.
Example 2.
He really strived to get a new job, and his work paid off.
Okay, great examples of strive, to fight, to try really hard.
Yep.
All right. Okay, now the next word, I didn't really know what it meant, so this is really interesting. Breadth.
Breadth.
So it's kind of like saying bread, but adding a TH at the end.
Yeah.
Breadth.
Breadth of experience.
Okay, so this basically means it's wide.
Exactly. So when you have a great breadth of experience, you have a wide variety of experience.
Okay, so maybe in different fields or in different jobs. So
Yep.
you can have experience like in marketing and in a little bit in finance and a little bit in management.
Yes, a breadth of experience.
All right. All right, and now for the last word, it's actually 3-in-1.
A 3-in-1 deal.
A 3-in-1 deal. That actually they are very related.
Okay.
Right? So when he talked about his work experience, he was saying he supervised and coordinated the customer support team.
Okay, so he watched over, right? And made things work together well.
To coordinate.
Yes.
So these are really great verbs that you can use when you're talking about your job responsibilities.
Yes.
I supervised.
I coordinated.
And he used another really great one that said to implement.
To implement, to make something happen, to put it in place.
Right? So he implemented new strategies.
Implemented new policies.
Okay. To set in action.
Exactly.
All right. So a lot of great vocabulary, a lot of great stuff, and well, you can use it for when you are at a job interview. So let's listen to this dialogue again. And when we come back, we're going to give you some tips so you'll do well in this part of the job interview.
Thanks for coming in today. Did you have any trouble finding us? Please, take a seat.
Thank you.
So, let's get started. Tell me a bit about your educational background.
Sure. Well, I graduated with honors from Chesterton University with a major in business administration, with a specialization in information management, and I minored in psychology. I chose this course of study for two reasons. I wanted to gain some practical, marketable skills, which the information management track provided, and I also feel that the interpersonal skills are essential for professional success, hence the minor in psychology.
Interesting. And your postgraduate studies?
Well, I am really passionate about consumer behavior, so I pursued a master's in that area. I also strive to keep my professional skills current, so I continuously attend seminars and conferences related to management and customer service.
Very good. Now, tell me a little bit about your work experience. I see here that you previously worked at Oracle.
Yeah, I worked as their customer support manager, which brought me a breadth of experience in both client care and process management. I supervised and coordinated the customer support team as well as implemented new strategies to achieve better customer satisfaction.
Interesting.
Yes, in this position, I was able to make some pretty significant contributions to the overall success of the company. With the different initiatives that we implemented, we lowered our churn rate to about 5%, which had a direct impact on revenue.
All right, well, I want to talk about two main things. And the first thing I want to talk about is how you address this question about your educational background. Like, what is the interviewer looking to find out?
Okay, perfect. So when you are talking about your educational background, you shouldn't only talk about your college degree, right?
Yep.
You should also talk about any type of training that you've had.
Yeah, I think it's really important to let the interviewer know that you're continually trying to update your skills and improve your knowledge. So any sort of courses or seminars that you might attend, this is a great chance to highlight those.
And that's what the interview is looking for, right?
Also, any trade publications, any magazines that you read related to your job is a great way to sort of highlight your desire to keep learning.
Well, I think that's really important because it's good that you went to a good university, you got this degree and everything, but continuously training yourself, and maybe just by listening to business podcasts or reading specific magazines or stuff like that is demonstrating that you care about what you do and that you are continuously learning, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so those are the main things to talk about in your educational background. Now, when this work experience question pops up, what should you really say?
When you're answering this question, I think there's something really important to keep in mind.
What's that?
You want to make sure that you're being as specific as possible, right?
Right, so giving examples of what you've done.
Like really specifically what you did, all of the sort of the main achievements you have.
Okay, so like for example, we saw in our dialogue that he talked about specific strategies that he implemented to improve customer support in that company.
Right, and he gave some numbers.
Right, he said, he lowered the churn rate to about 5%.
So it's so important whenever you can attach a number to your success or your achievement, to be able to do that in the interview really demonstrates your achievement.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And another thing when you're talking about previous jobs is make sure you keep it on a positive note, right? Even if your experience was not very good or you didn't like the company or you had problems, you should avoid talking about that and always keep it on a positive note.
Right. So if the interviewer asks you why you want to join this company, why you're looking to leave your current job, you want to give these positive reasons.
Right. You don't want to say, well, because my boss was a jerk, or I didn't like the company anymore. You should answer it with something positive like, well, I think I need a change, or this job opportunity is more aligned with what I want to do in the future, etc. Yeah, so positive always on your interviews, and just, again, prepare for these questions that are always going to be there.
Yes.
So, Erica, I know that you've done a lot of interviews, and I understand that you've had a really weird question.
Yes. In an interview, I once got this question. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I really was asked that question.
What did you answer?
I think I said that I would want to be a willow tree because they're really beautiful.
Was that the right answer?
I don't know. Like, what are you supposed to answer to that question? I really don't know what the right answer was.
Well, some people, they'll ask you just, I don't know, random questions just to see what your response is. I think also maybe it's just how you deal with the pressure
or with the unexpected questions.
Right. So it's like that is pretty unexpected though. But I guess you handled it pretty well.
Okay. Well, I mean, I got the job. So
nice. All right.
All right. I want to know from our listeners, if they were a tree, what kind of tree they would be.
Yeah. And also tell us about, your job experience or your educational background. Well, I know, for example, that I've had a lot of different types of jobs. I've even been that person that gets on the bus and charges people the money.
I know.
It's
you've had every job
jobs
under the sun.
So, but it's great. So tell us, what's the weirdest job you've had? What's the craziest or the best job? Or any experiences?
Yes.
Getting a job is something most people work hard for. And to get a good job, you usually need to go through a job interview. That's the moment where you sit down, answer questions, and try to show that you're the right person for the position. But let's be honest, interviews can be scary, especially in English. That's why understanding how to talk about your education and experience is so important. Knowing what to say and how to say it can make all the difference. In most interviews, the first question is something like, can you tell me about your educational background? This means the person wants to know where you studied, what you studied, and why. In English, this is called your educational background. It's a simple phrase, but very useful. You could say, I have a strong educational background in marketing, or my educational background is in engineering and design. Now let's talk about how to explain what you studied. In English-speaking countries, university students usually choose a major. This is the main subject they focus on. You might say, I majored in computer science, or my major was international relations. Sometimes students also have a minor. This is a smaller subject they also studied. For example, I majored in economics and minored in psychology. The pattern is simple: majored in and minored in. Some people go further and get a master's degree or even a PhD. These are called postgraduate studies. A master's degree usually takes 1 or 2 years after university. A PhD takes even longer and includes a lot of research. You could say, I pursued a master's in environmental science, or I completed my postgraduate studies in public health. The word pursue is a very useful verb. It means to follow or try to achieve something over time. You can pursue a degree, pursue a goal, or even pursue a dream. Saying, I pursued a degree in finance sounds more professional than just I did a degree. It shows effort and direction. When talking about your studies, it's also helpful to mention your course of study. That means the combination of subjects and classes you took. You can say, my course of study gave me a strong understanding of digital marketing and data analysis. This shows that your education had a clear focus and purpose. Interviewers also like to hear why you chose your path. You might say, I chose this course of study because it gave me practical skills, or I was always interested in how people think, so I studied psychology. This shows personal motivation, and it helps the interviewer see that you're thoughtful and passionate. The way you explain your education should feel natural and confident. You don't have to use big words. Just speak clearly, stay focused, and use the right phrases. That way, you'll sound professional and prepared, even if you're nervous. And remember, the goal is not just to share facts, but to show who you are, what you've learned, and how you've grown. After you talk about your education, the next big question in most interviews is about your work experience. Interviewers want to know what jobs you've done before, what your responsibilities were, and what you learned from them. This part of the interview is a great chance to show your skills, but many people don't know how to explain their experience in a strong and clear way. That's why learning the right phrases and expressions in English is so helpful. A good way to start is by saying, I have experience working in, and then name the field or industry. For example, I have experience working in customer service, or I have 5 years of experience in the banking industry. You can also talk about the job title you had, like, I worked as a marketing assistant, or I was a sales manager at a retail company. To sound more confident, use action verbs when describing what you did in your past jobs. These are strong verbs that show what you actually accomplished. For example, you can say, I managed a team of 10 people, or I coordinated projects between different departments. Other great action verbs include implemented, organized, led, improved, designed, trained, developed, and supported. Let's say you worked in a customer service job. You could say, I supervised a team of customer support agents and implemented new strategies to improve customer satisfaction. This shows that you didn't just do the job, you made it better. That's something employers love to hear. Another good expression is a breadth of experience. This means you have wide or varied experience in many areas. You might say, working in different departments gave me a breadth of experience in both operations and communication. This shows flexibility and growth. It's also very effective to use numbers when you can. Numbers give proof of what you achieved. For example, we increased sales by 20% in 1 year, or I helped reduce complaints by 30% through better training. These details make your answer stronger and more memorable. You should also mention soft skills. These are skills like communication, teamwork, time management, or leadership. You might say, that job helped me develop strong communication skills, or I learned to manage my time well while handling several tasks at once. These are the kinds of qualities that employers look for in every job. Be careful not to speak badly about your past job or boss, even if you didn't like the experience. In English interviews, it's important to stay positive. If asked why you left your last job, say something like, I wanted a new challenge, or I'm looking for opportunities to grow. Keep the focus on your goals, not your complaints. When describing your experience, speak slowly and clearly. Try to stay organized. One useful structure is this: job title, main duties, something you achieved, and what you learned. For example, I worked as an event planner. I organized company events and meetings. One of my events brought in over 500 guests. I learned how to handle pressure and manage big projects. Talking about work experience is your chance to show what you've done and how you've added value. Choose your words carefully, use helpful phrases, and make your experience come alive. When you do that, your English will sound more natural and your message will be much stronger. Many people forget that job interviews are not only about education and past work. They're also about showing your attitude and your ability to grow. Interviewers want to know what kind of person you are and whether you'll bring something valuable to their team. That's why talking about your skills, goals, and motivation is so important. In English, there are simple ways to express these ideas that can make a big difference in how you're understood. Let's start with one useful word: strive. This word means to try very hard to do something. It shows effort and determination. You can say, I always strive to improve my performance, or in my last job, I strive to meet every deadline. This verb gives the message that you work hard and care about doing things well. Another strong verb is pursue. It means to follow a goal or dream. You can say, I'm pursuing a career in project management, or I pursued further training in customer service to improve my skills. This word is especially useful when talking about your future plans or any training you've done on your own. Employers also want to hear that you keep learning. You can say things like, I regularly attend online courses or I read industry magazines to stay updated. These simple sentences show that you're serious about improving yourself. If you've gone to conferences or taken extra classes, say so. For example, last year I took a short course in leadership skills, or I completed a seminar on digital marketing. These experiences show that you are active and growing. There are also helpful expressions you can use to talk about your character. For example, you might say, I'm someone who takes initiative. This means you don't wait for others, you act. Or you can say, I enjoy solving problems and finding better ways to do things. That kind of sentence shows creativity and responsibility. Another powerful word is contribution. This means something valuable that you give or add. In a job interview, you can say, I made several contributions to improve customer service, or I hope to make a positive contribution to your team. This shows that you're not just thinking about yourself. You want to help the company succeed. You can also use the word attribute to describe a positive quality you have. For example, one of my best attributes is my attention to detail, or my strongest attribute is my ability to stay calm under pressure. These kinds of phrases help the interviewer understand your personality and working style. Sometimes, you may be asked strange or unexpected questions. For example, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? That kind of question is not really about trees. It's about how you think, how you react, and how creative you are. There's no perfect answer, but you can still show your personality by staying calm and thoughtful. You might say, I'd be a willow tree because it's flexible but strong, or I'd be an oak tree because it stands tall and lasts a long time. Interviews can include all kinds of questions, from serious to surprising. What matters is how you answer, with honesty, confidence, and clear English. When you prepare phrases like the ones you've learned here, you can feel more ready for whatever the interviewer asks. And when you speak clearly about your goals, skills, and attitude, you show not just who you are, but what you can become. Knowing what to say in a job interview is only part of the challenge. It's just as important to know how to say it. The way you speak, your tone, your words, your attitude can leave a strong impression. In English interviews, people listen carefully to not just what you say, but how professional, positive, and confident you sound. That's why learning the right style of speaking is just as important as learning vocabulary. Let's start with being specific. In English, general answers like, I worked hard, or I did many things don't give enough information. Interviewers want clear examples. You can say, I led a team of 6 people to complete a new marketing campaign in 3 months, or I introduced a new system that helped reduce errors by 15%. These are simple, strong sentences with real results. They show what you did and what changed because of your work. Another helpful tip is to use numbers. Numbers give power to your words. Saying, I helped increase sales by 10% sounds much stronger than just saying I helped improve sales. You can also say, we reduced waiting time from 10 minutes to 3, or customer satisfaction scores went up by 20% after I joined. Numbers make your story real and easy to understand. Use positive language. This means focusing on what went well and what you learned, even from difficult experiences. For example, instead of saying, my last job was very stressful, you can say, I learned how to manage time better and handle pressure in a fast-paced job. That sounds much more professional. If you left a job, don't say, I didn't like my boss. Instead, say, I was ready for a new challenge and more responsibility. Positive answers build trust. Let's talk about vocabulary that shows leadership and responsibility. Words like manage, supervise, coordinate, and implement are excellent. You might say, I supervised a team of junior staff, or I coordinated weekly meetings between departments. The word implement is especially strong. It means to put a plan into action. You could say, I implemented a new training system that helped new staff learn faster. You can also talk about your ability to work with others. In English, team skills are very important. Use expressions like, I enjoy working in a team environment, or I've learned how to communicate clearly with people from different departments. If you trained others, say, I helped onboard new employees, or I provided support and training to junior staff. These phrases show you're not just focused on yourself, you're a team player. It's also helpful to describe how you handle problems. You can say, when a customer was unhappy, I listened carefully and offered a solution, or I always look for the cause of the problem before reacting. These are examples of good thinking and calm behavior. Employers want people who don't panic and who can find smart solutions. Even small expressions can make a big difference. Phrases like I'm confident that, I take pride in, and I'm always willing to learn more add a strong personal touch. They make your answers feel more alive and sincere. In a job interview, you are not just answering questions. You are telling a story, your story. Make sure it sounds clear, professional, and full of value. Use action verbs, give examples, stay positive, and speak with confidence. When you do that, your English becomes not only correct, but powerful. And that's what helps you stand out. Job interviews are not just about the past. They're also about the future. Interviewers often ask questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or what are your career goals? These questions are not tests. They are your chance to show that you have direction, ambition, and a positive attitude. Knowing how to talk about your future plans in clear and natural English can leave a strong and lasting impression. One helpful phrase is, I hope to grow professionally. This is a simple way to say that you want to improve your skills and take on more responsibility. You might say, I hope to grow professionally in a company that values learning and teamwork. Or you can say, my goal is to become a team leader and help guide others. You can also use phrases like, I'm working toward, or I'm planning to, for example. I'm working toward becoming a project manager, or I'm planning to take a course in digital strategy to improve my skills. These expressions show that you're thinking ahead and taking action to reach your goals. Another good word is aspire. This means to strongly want something, especially success in your work. You can say, I aspire to take on leadership roles in the future, or I aspire to build a long-term career in your company. It's a strong and professional word, and it shows passion. Interviewers also like to hear that you're flexible and open to learning. You can say, I'm open to new challenges, or I enjoy learning new things and adapting to change. These phrases show that you are not afraid to grow, and you'll bring a good attitude to the team. It's also okay to talk about personal qualities you want to improve. For example, I'm working on becoming more confident when speaking in public, or I'm trying to become more organized in managing my daily tasks. This shows self-awareness, which is a powerful soft skill. Don't forget to connect your future plans to the job you're applying for. You can say, this position is a great match for my goals, or I believe this role will help me grow and make a meaningful contribution. That kind of sentence brings everything together. It links your past, your present, and your future. A strong closing thought in an interview is to express what you hope to bring to the company. You might say, I'm excited about the chance to bring my skills, energy, and ideas to your team, or I'm ready to take what I've learned and use it to help your company grow. These are simple, powerful ways to show that you're serious and motivated. Preparing answers like these helps you speak with confidence. You're not just learning English. You're learning how to use it to express your goals, your dreams, and your future path. And that's what makes your English not just good, but meaningful.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. The history of the education you've had.
Educational background.
With special recognition for receiving very high marks.
With honors.
The main field of study in an undergraduate degree.
Major.
A limited area of study.
Specialization.
To have a secondary area of study in an undergraduate program.
Minor.
The combination of courses taken in a degree program.
Course of study.
Course of study.
Track.
Master's or PhD, education above the bachelor's degree level.
Postgraduate.
For that reason.
Hence.
Try to do something over a longer period of time.
Pursue.
Try hard to do something.
Strive.
A wide range or scope of something.
Breadth.
Important and large enough to have a noticeable effect.
Significant.
Adding or giving something.
Contribution.
University education.
Tertiary education.
Take the chance to do something before others do.
Take initiative.
Make something different in a special way.
Distinguish.
A good quality or feature that someone has.
Attribute.
Examine something in a careful and critical way.
Scrutinize.
Let's try that faster. Take the chance to do something before others do.
Take initiative.
A good quality or feature that someone has.
Attribute.
To have a secondary area of study in an undergraduate program.
Minor.
With special recognition for receiving very high marks.
With honors.
The history of the education you've had.
Educational background.
Try to do something over a longer period of time.
Pursue.
Course of study.
Track.
Master's or PhD, education above the bachelor's degree level.
Postgraduate.
For that reason.
Hence.
University education.
Tertiary education.
Adding or giving something.
Contribution.
The combination of courses taken in a degree program.
Course of study.
The main field of study in an undergraduate degree.
Major.
A limited area of study.
Specialization.
Try hard to do something.
Strive.
Important and large enough to have a noticeable effect.
Significant.
Make something different in a special way.
Distinguish.
Examine something in a careful and critical way.
Scrutinize.
A wide range or scope of something.
Breadth.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Course of study. I chose this course of study because it offers a wide range of work opportunities. Course of study. I want to change my course of study before the next semester starts. Course of study. My sister didn't choose her course of study. My parents decided for her. Pursue. They wanted to pursue their dream of traveling around the world, but it didn't happen. Pursue. My mother wants me to pursue a career in law. Pursue. You should really pursue that master's degree. It would really help your career. Strive. If you want to be successful, you must strive to achieve your goals. Strive. We strive to bring you outstanding customer service. Strive. Our company always strives to make our products better and better. Hence. The project was a complete failure. Hence, the project manager was fired. Hence. The project was postponed for 3 months, hence the delay in delivery. Hence. I never studied for my exams, hence my low marks.
Before I ever stepped into my first job interview, I thought I knew what to expect. A firm handshake, a few questions about my background, maybe a polite smile or two. But I quickly learned that job interviews are not just formal meetings. They are powerful conversations that reveal a lot about who you are, not only as a professional but also as a learner and a person. And at the heart of that conversation is one major topic: your educational background and your work experience. Let me tell you how I learned that lesson. I had just finished university with a degree in business administration. It was a strong program with a specialization, what we call a track, in information management. That means I focused a lot of my studies on how businesses collect, store, and use data. But I also made an unusual choice. I decided to minor in psychology. While it wasn't required, I believed it would help me understand people better. And in any business, people are at the center of success. So I thought, why not combine the technical with the human? When I sat down for my first real interview, the manager asked me, "Can you tell me about your course of study?" That question sounds simple, but I realized it was my moment to show not only what I studied, but why I studied it. I said, "I graduated with honors from Chesterton University. My major was business administration with a focus on information management. I also minored in psychology. I chose this course of study because I wanted to gain practical, marketable skills and also understand human behavior in the workplace." Right there, I used vocabulary that helps in interviews, words like course of study, major, minor, focus, and marketable skills. These are key phrases you need to feel comfortable using. They show that you're not just listing facts, you're explaining your decisions. The manager asked about postgraduate education. I told him I pursued a master's degree in consumer behavior. That was another important word, pursue. It means to actively go after something. In this case, I wanted to continue learning about what drives people to make decisions, especially in the marketplace. While talking, I also used another helpful word, strive. I explained how I strive to stay current by attending workshops, webinars, and conferences. This shows that learning doesn't stop after school. Many companies want to see that you are always growing, not just sitting still. The conversation was flowing well, but I could feel that the manager wanted more than just academic history. He wanted to understand how I had used what I'd learned. So when he asked about my job experience, I was ready. I told him about my time at Oracle, where I worked as a customer support manager. That position gave me a breadth of experience, a wide variety of tasks and responsibilities. I supervised a team, coordinated support operations, and implemented new service strategies. Each of those verbs, supervised, coordinated, implemented, showed that I didn't just work. I led, organized, and created change. The manager nodded, clearly interested, but I knew numbers would help. I added, we were able to reduce the customer churn rate to 5%, which had a direct and significant impact on revenue. That word, significant, is a great one to use in interviews. It shows that what you did made a noticeable difference. In just a few minutes, I had shared not just my educational journey, but how it connected to real results. That's what made the interview work. It wasn't about listing achievements. It was about telling a story, my story, and using language that made it clear, professional, and powerful. One thing I quickly realized is that employers don't just want to hear about your past, they want to see how you think. That's why the way you describe your previous work experience matters so much. It's not just about listing job titles. It's about explaining your role, your responsibilities, and most importantly, your results. After I told the hiring manager about my experience at Oracle, he asked me a very important question. What specific challenges did you face, and how did you handle them? That's when I understood how powerful examples can be. I began by describing one of our biggest problems, high customer turnover. Many customers were leaving after just 1 or 2 support calls. So I said, one challenge we had was retaining customers. I noticed that our response time was too slow, and many clients felt ignored. I proposed a new tracking system for incoming support tickets and trained our team to use it. That sentence was full of strong action verbs. Noticed, proposed, trained. Action verbs make your experiences sound active and professional. Avoid saying things like, I was involved in, or I helped with. Instead, be direct and clear. Then I shared the result. Within 3 months, our average response time improved by 40% and customer satisfaction scores went up significantly. Results matter. They show that you don't just work, you make things better. He then asked, did you work mostly alone or in a team? That gave me a chance to talk about collaboration. I explained, I worked closely with a team of 5. We held weekly meetings, shared goals, and supported each other during high-pressure periods. I used the phrase worked closely with, which is a very useful one in interviews. It shows cooperation. But I didn't stop there. I added, I also took initiative to mentor 2 new employees. I believe that helping others grow is part of leadership. That word, initiative, is key. It tells the interviewer that you don't wait for orders. You act when you see a need. The manager nodded and said, that's good to hear. What did you learn from that role? That was my chance to show reflection. I said, I learned the value of clear communication, time management, and emotional intelligence. Every client was different, and I had to adapt to their needs. Words like emotional intelligence and adapt show that you're thoughtful, flexible, and aware of other people's feelings. I also said, one thing I always try to do is ask for feedback. It helps me grow and improve. Many people are afraid of feedback, but showing that you welcome feedback can make a strong impression. It tells the company that you're open-minded and focused on improvement. Throughout the conversation, I made sure to keep my language professional but simple. I didn't try to impress with complicated words. Instead, I used phrases like solve problems, lead a team, manage time, meet deadlines, and build relationships. These are all real phrases used in real workplaces. When you describe your experience, try to think of each role as a story with a beginning, a middle, and a result. What was the situation? What did you do? What changed because of your work? That's how you make your experience meaningful. And that's how you show that you're not just someone who had a job, but someone who brings value to the team. As the interview continued, the conversation shifted towards skills, both technical and personal. This is a very important part of any interview because the employer wants to know not only what you've done, but how you do it. What kind of person are you at work? Are you reliable, adaptable, professional? Can you manage your time, communicate clearly, solve problems? The manager leaned forward and said, tell me about some of your strengths. I knew this question was coming, so I had prepared in advance. It's easy to say things like, I'm a hard worker, but it's much better to show your strengths with real examples. I said, one of my main strengths is time management. In my previous job, I was responsible for handling more than 100 customer support cases each week. To stay on top of everything, I created a personal scheduling system. I divided my workday into blocks, used reminders, and reviewed my priorities every morning. Then I added something very important. Because of this system, I was able to meet every deadline and respond to urgent requests quickly. That's the key. Don't just name a strength. Prove it. Another strength I shared was adaptability. I explained, when the company switched to a new customer service platform, many team members were frustrated and confused. I took time to learn the system and created a short training guide to help the rest of the team. I believe it's important to stay flexible and open to change. Again, I used practical, clear words like switched, learned, created, and helped. These verbs make your story real and understandable. The manager nodded and said, "That's great. What about communication?" That opened another opportunity. I replied, "Clear communication is one of my top priorities. Whether I'm writing emails, speaking to clients, or giving team updates, I always try to be polite, direct, and organized. I often use checklists in emails and follow up on tasks to make sure everyone's on the same page." Expressions like top priority, follow up, and on the same page are very useful in business conversations. They help you sound professional while still using simple English. Then came the classic question, what is your biggest weakness? Many people fear this question, but it's actually a great opportunity to show self-awareness and growth. I took a short pause and said, in the past, I had trouble saying no. I would accept too many tasks at once because I wanted to be helpful. But I realized that doing too much can lead to lower quality. So I started learning how to set boundaries and communicate clearly about what I can realistically handle. This showed honesty, maturity, and progress. The goal is not to appear perfect. It's to show that you're aware of your habits and that you're always trying to improve. We also talked about soft skills, those personal qualities that make a big difference at work. I mentioned reliability, responsibility, and teamwork. I said, I always arrive on time, follow through on my promises, and try to be a calm, steady presence in stressful situations. Words like arrive on time, follow through, and steady presence are not complicated, but they are powerful. They paint a picture of a dependable, thoughtful employee. At the end of that section, the manager said something I'll never forget. He said, "You speak clearly and confidently, and you explain your experience in a way that's easy to follow. That's a great skill." That moment reminded me that using simple, structured, and real-life English is one of the strongest tools you can have, not just in an interview, but in your career. Whether you're talking about strengths, weaknesses, or your daily habits, the way you express yourself matters just as much as what you say. After we discussed skills and experience, the manager asked a question that made me think more deeply. He said, "Why did you apply for this job, and what are your long-term goals?" These kinds of questions are very common in interviews, and they are not just about the present, they're about the future. Employers want to know if your goals match the company's goals. They want to see if you plan to grow, stay motivated, and contribute over time. I took a deep breath and said, I applied for this position because it fits perfectly with both my experience and my passion. I enjoy working with people, solving problems, and using data to make smart decisions. Your company focuses on innovation and customer care, which are values I share. That word, values, is important. It shows that you care about more than just money or job titles. You care about the mission and vision of the company. You want to be part of something meaningful. I continued, in the short term, I want to build strong relationships with my team and deliver high-quality results. In the long term, I hope to grow into a leadership role where I can help guide others and contribute to the company's success on a bigger level. Phrases like short-term and long-term are useful ways to organize your thoughts. And saying things like deliver results and grow into a leadership role shows that you're thinking ahead. Then the manager asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's another classic question. Many people give vague answers, but I believe it's better to be honest and thoughtful. I replied, in 5 years, I see myself as a confident leader who continues to learn and adapt. I hope to manage a team, develop new strategies, and be known as someone who supports others and helps solve real problems. That sentence included several important phrases: confident leader, develop strategies, support others, and solve real problems. These are all useful expressions that show your professional goals and personality. He smiled and said, "And what motivates you at work?" That gave me a chance to talk about personal drive. I said, "I'm motivated by progress. I enjoy seeing improvement, whether it's in a process, a person, or a project. I also feel motivated when I know my work helps others. That's what gives me energy every day." I also added, "I enjoy working in environments where learning never stops. If I can keep growing, trying new ideas, and making a difference, I feel excited and engaged." Words like progress, growth, energy, and engaged are positive and powerful in interviews. They help you explain your personal connection to your work. Before the topic changed, I made sure to mention one more thing. I said, "I don't just want a job, I want a career. I want to be part of something that challenges me and helps me make an impact." That one line made a strong impression. It showed purpose, commitment, and vision. If you can express your goals with honesty and clarity, you show the employer that you're not just thinking about today, you're thinking about the future too. These kinds of questions are not hard if you prepare. The key is to speak from the heart, use clear English, and always connect your answers to real-life situations and values. When you do that, you don't just answer questions, you start building a connection. As the interview began to wrap up, the manager leaned back in his chair and said, "Do you have any questions for me?" I had heard before that this question was very important, but now I understood why. This is your moment to show curiosity, confidence, and preparation. A lot of people say, "No, I'm good," but that's a missed opportunity. Asking thoughtful questions shows you care about the job and want to learn more. I smiled and said, "Yes, I do. Could you tell me more about the team I'd be working with and what a typical day might look like in this role?" That question opened the door to a great conversation. He explained the size of the team, how they communicate, and the daily tasks involved. I listened carefully and asked follow-up questions like, how does the team usually handle tight deadlines? And what are some qualities that help someone succeed in this department? These questions helped me understand more about the job, but they also showed the manager that I was serious, focused, and interested in being a strong team member. Then I asked another important question: what are the company's biggest goals for the next year, and how can this role support those goals? He looked impressed. That question connected my future work directly to the company's mission. It showed that I wasn't just thinking about myself, I was thinking about how I could help the whole organization move forward. Finally, I asked, "What do you personally enjoy about working here?" That's a simple but powerful question. It brings the conversation to a more human level. People enjoy talking about what they love, and it helped create a positive final impression. After I asked my questions, he thanked me for my thoughtful approach and said he appreciated my communication style. That moment felt like a small success in itself. I didn't use fancy vocabulary or try to sound perfect. I just asked real, clear, respectful questions that mattered. As we stood up and shook hands, I felt confident, not because I was sure I'd get the job, but because I knew I had done my best to present myself honestly and professionally. I had shared my education, my work experience, my skills, my goals, and my personality, all using simple, real English. That experience taught me something valuable. Job interviews are not just about impressing someone. They are about building trust, sharing your story, and making a meaningful connection. And the more you practice these skills, the more you learn the right words, the useful phrases, the right tone, the stronger and more natural your English will become in real-life situations like this. So whether you're preparing for your first interview or your 10th, Remember that preparation, self-awareness, and clear language can make all the difference. That's what opens doors and starts new journeys.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. The history of the education you've had.
Educational background.
With special recognition for receiving very high marks.
With honors.
The main field of study in an undergraduate degree.
Major.
A limited area of study.
Specialization.
To have a secondary area of study in an undergraduate program.
Minor.
The combination of courses taken in a degree program.
Course of study.
Course of study.
Track.
Master's or PhD, education above the bachelor's degree level.
Postgraduate.
For that reason.
Hence.
Try to do something over a longer period of time.
Pursue.
Try hard to do something.
Strive.
A wide range or scope of something.
Breadth.
Important and large enough to have a noticeable effect.
Significant.
Adding or giving something.
Contribution.
University education.
Tertiary education.
Take the chance to do something before others do.
Take initiative.
Make something different in a special way.
Distinguish.
A good quality or feature that someone has.
Attribute.
Examine something in a careful and critical way.
Scrutinize.
Let's try that faster. Take the chance to do something before others do.
Take initiative.
A good quality or feature that someone has.
Attribute.
To have a secondary area of study in an undergraduate program.
Minor.
With special recognition for receiving very high marks.
With honors.
The history of the education you've had.
Educational background.
Try to do something over a longer period of time.
Pursue.
Course of study.
Track.
Master's or PhD, education above the bachelor's degree level.
Postgraduate.
For that reason.
Hence.
University education.
Tertiary education.
Adding or giving something.
Contribution.
The combination of courses taken in a degree program.
Course of study.
The main field of study in an undergraduate degree.
Major.
A limited area of study.
Specialization.
Try hard to do something.
Strive.
Important and large enough to have a noticeable effect.
Significant.
Make something different in a special way.
Distinguish.
Examine something in a careful and critical way.
Scrutinize.
A wide range or scope of something.
Breadth.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Course of study. I chose this course of study because it offers a wide range of work opportunities. Course of study. I want to change my course of study before the next semester starts. Course of study. My sister didn't choose her course of study. My parents decided for her. Pursue. They wanted to pursue their dream of traveling around the world, but it didn't happen. Pursue. My mother wants me to pursue a career in law. Pursue. You should really pursue that master's degree. It would really help your career. Strive. If you want to be successful, you must strive to achieve your goals. Strive. We strive to bring you outstanding customer service. Strive. Our company always strives to make our products better and better. Hence. The project was a complete failure. Hence, the project manager was fired. Hence. The project was postponed for 3 months, hence the delay in delivery. Hence. I never studied for my exams, hence my low marks.